Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. This one's called Headshot with Ikaika. Am I saying it right? Ikaika? Ikaika.
That's my baby girl that I lost.
Yeah.
And she just meant everything to me.
No, I understand that 100%.
I had her for 29 years.
Yeah.
Which is literally longer than anybody I've been with. You know, you grow up, at about 20, you leave your parents, so you're not really with them anymore. And the same goes for your siblings. And she was with me longer than anybody except my husband.
That's actually utterly profound. So let me describe the image, because people are listening, and this is theater of the mind. So the image is of you seated on a sofa. It looks like it could be a leather sofa. It could be pea green, and behind the wall is flat. So the background is quite clean. You're seated with a hat, like a quasi fedora, sitting on your head, tilted a little bit. You have a ponytail. Do you have a ponytail now? Oh, there it is. There it is. Very nice. A nice look. A very nice look. That almost looks like a beret. You're wearing a red shirt, and your expression is warm and open, and like I'd say like the hint of a smile, maybe. But on your shoulder is...
That is a umbrella cockatoo.
Umbrella. Okay, I was going to say a sulfur. So I meant sulfur, not rufus. Okay, umbrella cockatoo. Okay. Ikaika. Now, I understand that when I asked you to send me 4 photos and you're going to frame the conversation, I understood that at the time it was literally, I think, the week or 2, right? And as you say, she's like your profound companion. I'm seeing your face now on the video. So how old were you, or was she, when you got her?
She was about 2. She
okay.
was, we decided we were going to get parrots.
Okay.
And we had been raptor rehabbers for quite some time before that. The thing is, when you're a rehabber, there's 2 things going on. One is that you do not get attached to the birds.
Okay.
Because most rehabbers are happy if they've got a 50% survival rate. You get these birds, and they're either so sick that they allow people to pick them up, or they're injured. And the injuries are usually not something they can survive.
Right.
And so you don't get attached to the birds, and you're going to be letting them go anyway.
Yep.
You don't want them to keep coming back. So we wanted birds we could get attached to. And this couple was moving from Tulsa, a standard house in Tulsa, into backcountry in Arkansas. Not entirely off the grid, but the only heating in this cabin they were moving into was a wood stove. And they were very much afraid that the smoke was going to harm the bird. So we went over, had a look at her, and she just took to us immediately. And we walked out with a bird.
Okay. For the people who are listening, and like me, the context that I have is you're seated on what seems to be an office chair. The lighting is from above. You seem to be in a kind of an office room with a lot of...
It's my office room, but behind me, or behind the chair, are several hundred spools of ribbon and trim.
Yeah.
It looks like a haberdashery back there, and that's because it is. I also work on my hobby of costuming dolls here.
For the listener, from my side, they might hear a bit of traffic because I happen to live on a road where there's a lot of traffic. But from your side, there's you close the porch doors, but there are the sounds of birds. How many birds do you have in the house?
I have a dozen. About half of them are rescues.
Wow.
Because once we got our parrots, our initial couple of parrots, things would happen. People would ask us if we wanted to take a bird because they couldn't keep it anymore. 2 or 3 of the birds we got via my vet.
Mm-hmm.
Because in one case, the bird was abandoned there. And he had been very severely abused.
Oh.
And the sight of a broom would make him fling himself down into the bottom of the cage and go huddle in the far corner.
Oh, wow. What?
Yeah, somebody beat him with a broom.
What?
I know.
Okay, so my problem in doing these episodes with these fascinating people like you is I have to rein in all of the questions that I have and then just pick one of them because I have so many for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so share with the world your love of caring for birds and why. I mean, so for example, I've had lots of dogs and lots of cats, and I understand animals, like I befriend animals very easily and all this stuff. But make real for somebody who's listening, like, why is caring for these birds such a profound experience for you?
Well, with the raptors, which we don't do the raptor rehab anymore. I'm 72. Larry's not nearly that old, but he's got the body of a 72-year-old man.
You're 72?
Yes,
You're looking good.
He's got ankylosing spondylitis, so his spine is slowly degenerating. Yeah, it's an arthritis of the spine, basically. So we can't go traipsing through 5 acres of wait-a-minute bushes to get to birds anymore. I mean, because the worst rescue we had, thank God we had our buddy Ben Olander with us. He spent a lot of time in the military, was an officer in the Marines, and way more physically fit than us. And we had a situation with a red-tailed hawk that had been electrocuted 5 feet from her nest.
Ugh.
And, well, the fortunate thing is it was right on the property of an American Airlines repair facility. And they were keeping an eye on the nest. And they called me and said, the boy is trying, but he doesn't know how to take care of the babies. Can you get out here? Because I think we think they're going to die. So we got out there, and it's about a 50-foot climb up a tree to a nest at the very, very tippy top.
Oh, wow. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I looked at Larry, and Larry looked at me, and we looked at each other, and Ben said, "Oh, that's easy." And away he went. He took we got a basket and a rope, and he took them both up the tree, and he borrowed some kind of web harness from one of the avionics guys. I have no idea why they would wear it, but apparently it was something that they had lying around the shop. He used that as his climbing harness, and they supplied us with a couple of ropes, and we had the basket. Up he went, got the birds, came back down.
Wow.
Yeah. But what the thing is that I have had lots of dogs. I've had cats. I still do have cats, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
The intelligence level of the parrots is such that, and the fact that they're flock birds is such that they can make very powerful emotional attachments to you.
Mm-hmm.
And Even when they're biting the crap out of me, I wouldn't have it any other way. Now, with the rehabbing, the reward was always in the moment of release.
Yeah.
The big reward, the big payoff is always in the moment of release. Then there are lots of little payoffs, like when you're taking care of babies. Babies are always cute. Everyone loves babies. Even when they're screaming at you for food. But with the parrots, these are creatures that can and do tell you in words, I love you, and they know what it means.
Right.
Ikaika used to have a trick. Cockatoos don't speak well. They do speak, but they don't speak well. African greys are the big winners there. So she would tend to use words, a limited vocabulary, but a lot of inflection.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she'd curl her head up under her chin, under my chin like this, and just press her head into the hollow of my throat and go, I love you.
Oh, dude.
And then if she saw something you were eating that she wanted, start out with, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Give me some of that.
You're telling me this extremely sweet story, and I understand how basically you've been mourning. You've been mourning your companion's passing.
Yes.
And hopefully, recognizing and coming to a certain acceptance that it's a profound loss. And one of the people I had on the podcast, Monica Borschel, talks about I think her master's or her PhD was in grieving and trauma. And for the people who don't know, who haven't had the connection with, take a moment. Do you have tissues near you?
Yeah.
It's so obviously heartfelt, and it's a profound experience. And I hear you.
And it kind of, it's also, it's rolled up into all the losses we've all had during this pandemic.
Yes.
We lost a good friend to COVID.
Oh,
I haven't
no.
seen my father in 2.5 years because he's in Tucson, and up until very recently, they weren't even letting people into his building.
Your father is still with us.
Yeah, he's 95.
Well, respect. He must be so tough.
He is a tough man. And he is a wonderful man. But yeah, it's kind of all rolled up. The grief is kind of all rolled up in that.
Yeah. Well, look, let's move on, because the format is that we can only spend a few minutes, a very short phase, looking at these little glimpses, and hopefully somebody who's listening will hear something that touches them as well, because anybody who's had actually a companion, if you've had a companion and you've lost a companion who you love, that's what it is.
And loves you back, and you know it. It's a two-way connection there. I think probably the closest that a non-bird lover would have would they might understand with a service animal. Same thing.
Right. Or a best friend. Really.
Yeah, she really was my best friend.
Yeah. Well, look, let's move on to the next photo. Oh, you're pulling on my heartstrings. Okay, let's move on to the next photo. Mercedes. So is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes, shooting it raw.